Thank you for joining us, Donna and Laron. We appreciate it. Laron, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about your company.
Yeah, we're second generation. We're going on our 51st year of business. We supply pretty much all of Missouri except for major markets. We don't go into major markets. We were a 240-ton plant. We got warehouses in Keelan, Missouri, and Eldon, Missouri, which Eldon supplies the famous Lake of the Ozarks, Osage Beach. All the production was out of Freeburg.
All right.
Very cool. We noticed about on your website about us, and it's talking about we're a family business, and you guys have an article. You guys also jumped into a couple different businesses as well with your family. Can you briefly tell us about those?
Yeah, 1972, my family got into the car wash business. And we had to tear the original car wash down in 83 because of expanding the ice business. And then in 2020, my wife and I went back into the car wash business. And currently we got four self serves. And the ironic thing is, where our car wash is at Freeburg, is the birth site of Hilke's Ice Company.
Oh, cool.
All right. So, Laren, you just said the name. For everyone who's watching, Laron and Donna are for Hilke's Ice Company. They're in Missouri. They are very active in all the industry conferences and the
Sure.
board system and everything like that. So, if you are involved at all with that, you've probably seen them, if not spoken to them. And we're happy to be um, talking to you today. We are disappointed at the topic that we're sharing, but I know it's something that's important that we talk about, and so I just want to ask you. Go ahead and tell us about the disaster that you guys suffered this past summer.
Yeah, the last 6 months has been rough. Um, there is a miracle that came through this. Um, at 12:35 that morning of the 19th of June, we were in bed sleeping. Um, we got a call from two of our employees that was loading trucks that morning that the ice plant's on fire. Um, I heard Brian talking to my wife, and I jumped up, and we live right at the ice plant. And I called. I'm a retired firefighter. I called the fire department or called 911. I was able to give them a jump start on what was going on. Told them call Freeburg Fire Department, but get ready to start getting mutual aid in here. And I said, I gotta have two aerial ladders because the fire started on the second story of the ice plant. And I said, the most important thing is get aerial ladders en route. Freeburg does not have an aerial ladder. Um, we got in here. Um, Mutual aid was on the way. Freeburg was here probably within 3 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Um, I talked to the retired fire chief. I wanted the state fire marshal in here. Um, as mutual aid started coming in with water trucks, uh, we went ahead and I had the highway department called in to direct traffic because we're right off Highway 63. And I had state and county police departments involved in this to help direct traffic. And of all things, we picked up about 20-mile-an-hour winds
Oh no.
Mm.
right when we got down there. The biggest thing I can tell people is contact your local fire departments. have them do what we do call walkthroughs. About every other year, I had the fire department down here. Even though these guys was familiar with my buildings, I would still teach them, hey, if this place would ever go, and I was, we live amongst a bunch of rivers. I never dreamt of a fire. It
Yeah.
was a tornado that I was always scared that would get us. I told them, we got to keep these ammonia tanks cool, stuff like that. I'd always let them know how much ammonia I had on site and stuff. So, with that being said, Freeburg came in here and they were really familiar with my plant. Um, Freeburg went to the south side of the building with the two other departments and started fighting where the fire started. They had to pull out of the building because the fire was so hot. When they put the water to the ice maker itself, it turned into steam. That's how hot the fire was.
Mm.
Wow. So, Laron, obviously, you're affected greatly by this. Donna, I'd like to ask you a question. What do you remember of that evening? Is there anything? Because it sounds like Laron, being a previous firefighter, he knew the right things to ask and tell people. So, what was your recollection of those events?
I mean, we had fire people coming from every county there was.
Mm.
I mean, the fire was so emblazed that he had even dump trucks coming in, not dump trucks, but concrete trucks coming in with water because we needed water from everywhere.
Yeah.
So the reaction, and you said that you live fairly close, how far would you say close is from a relative term? I'd like to put it more in context of, are you 1,000 feet? Are you, right
Probably
next
about
to
40 feet.
40
Driveway.
feet? So were the winds coming in? Were the winds pushing away from your house, or was there ever any chance of your house catching?
No, we almost lost the house. If
Wow.
Brian wouldn't have called us when he did, it would have hit the south wall of the house, and our bed's right behind the south wall. We would have burned up in the fire that night.
No
So
gracious.
at the beginning, you said there was a miracle. Is that what you
That's
were
the miracle
referring
that
to?
we were called that the plant was on fire, because whenever the fire came out of the number 5 machine room. The fire actually traveled backwards down a vent into where I keep my air compressor and air dryer, and right there it hit my freezers. The wind picked up, and it just went through all my freezers. I had 3 freezers lined up in a row, and when we hit that number 3 freezer, it was 3 o'clock in the morning. And I told the fire departments, I said, back off on the ice plant, save the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, we got to save the house. We repositioned 3 pumpers and an aerial ladder, and we we had all the family down here. We made the call at 3 o'clock to take what we could out of the house.
Mhm.
Donna, with her 2 sons, went up, and grandsons went up where we actually live at and started taking what we could get out of the house. Her middle son, Matthew, stayed beside me, and we started taking everything out of the office that we could possibly get.
So is the office attached to the plant
House,
itself?
the
Oh,
house.
the house.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So from the time that you got the call to the time that the last, I guess, fire truck, or, well, in your case, concrete trucks, whatever was bringing water, when did this ordeal? And I know that the pain was still persist, but at what time did they finally pull off and say, okay, well, the fire's out?
The fire lasted 13 hours.
13 hours. Okay.
I
And
remember that morning because you guys are our clients, and I remember getting a call, and whoever it was someone in the office called and kind of told us what was going on, and they said the good thing was, even though the fire wasn't completely out, there were still a few fire, um, you know, firefighters still working on putting out the last little bit, that there were people already moving into action to help you guys. So I know a huge part of what you wanted to share was how the industry has responded, and how you worked with other ice manufacturers.
Yeah.
Take your time.
yeah, take your time. Absolutely.
The ice industry, the people from the convention that I met, they were more like a family.
Mm-hmm.
They
Absolutely.
all helped with sending ice to us wherever we needed it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the community and how tight knit everything is, and even people that you may have disagreements with, from a business standpoint, it's amazing when you're struck with a tragedy like you guys have experienced. And I don't know if any of that was the case as far as other people that you've not gotten along with, but it's just amazing that you see that the community come together, whether it's just your local or as we're talking about here in the ice community in the industry. So, um,
It was phenomenal. The community that I come from, I mean, you take a 30, 40-mile swipe. We have more food in here than you could shake a stick at. I mean, all the firefighters was getting fed. We had more to drink. My employees was being taken care of that week. But when this place was engulfed in fire, I stayed on the north side of the building through this, and I was up against Westphalia Fire Department. That's one of our mutual aid partners. I was by Steve Winkleman quite a bit through that fire. And I was seeing where this fire was coming in and where it was going. I went to the south side where Freeburg was there one time to make sure. They called me to make sure all the electric was dead. And I ran back there and I was seeing all these departments that I used to work with alongside there for years. I'd always end up back right there because I could see, I had a good view of the entire structure. While the place was on fire, I was on the phone. If I had people's cell numbers, I was on the phone trying to find ice. And, they answered, hey, you got ice. Um,
And this is June.
Say again.
And this is June, just to remind everybody.
2 weeks before the 4th.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, no, and I knew exactly how to get the ice, just kind of like when we did mutual aid on fires. You never pulled all your resources out of one area. I knew that because what if another ice plant burnt down or went down? That would tap a whole region out. So I was bouncing all over. And actually, a good friend of mine owns a trucking company that's right here in central Missouri. And he runs 6 loads of freight to PA. And Paul called me at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I said, Paul, I said, the plant's totally engulfed. I said, you got trucks coming out of Pennsylvania. And his family used to own White Oak Ice Company.
Oh, wow.
And I said, Paul, find me a load of ice and get it back here to Missouri. And then he called my wife and he said, I got a load. We're loading in the morning. It's out of Martin's Ice.
Okay.
Wow.
That was the
Philadelphia.
first load that got
Shipped here.
shipped. We knew it was coming. And as you know, this started at 2 o'clock in the morning or 1:30, I guess 1 o'clock. I started calling the ice companies. You know, as it got closer to 5, 6, guys was returning my calls, and we started getting a lot of ice coming down the road. Home City was phenomenal. Tiger Ice out of Columbia, Missouri. We there's Texas, Tyler Ice, Flying Penguin Ice, Polar Ice, uh, Clinton Ice out of Oklahoma, Easy Ice out of Oklahoma. Then we moved up to Arctic Ice there in St. Louis. We got some ice out of them. Ice Plant, Meridian, Mississippi. We pulled ice out of Sean's plant. We pulled ice out of Gary's plant in Nashville, and I think Chattanooga both. Mr.
Wow.
Ice down in Alabama was pulling ice out of his plant. York Ice pulled a lot of ice out of Jared's plant. And I think Valley Ice out of Virginia. Todd
Wow.
actually gave me a couple loads of ice. Jared Snyder gave me a couple loads of ice. Corbin Ice out of Jody Botner
Mhm.
out of Corbin, Kentucky. He gave us a couple loads of ice.
Well, I didn't keep a running tally, but if I had to mark it down, we have to be close to 20 companies that you just named there.
Pretty close. And you know, I had the distribution. I can, you know, I knew how to move ice. I knew how much we were moving. Thank God I had 2 warehouses. We just literally got nailed in that March, in the March of last year or this year. I got with Hogan. We leased a couple of 4 or 5 more reefer trailers, and them reefer trailers became my freezers.
Yeah. But normally you hear the reefer trailers, when people are trying to expand their plan or tear it down and build something else. We've had that story and talked to Tennessee Valley about them doing that. And I know Jody firsthand, they had a fire as well. And so, he knows the pain that you were going through and you guys were feeling. Obviously, you guys are going to feel the after effects of this for a long time, but, it's very touching of all the people that and companies that were there to help you. Where do you guys stand now? What's the recovery like today? And, how much longer do you feel like you're back up, rocking and rolling?
Right now, we're getting we got some prices in and stuff, and working with Modern, my contractor. We're obviously not building it back on location. I don't want to take a second chance of losing this house.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to get land in a rural area, and we have no choice, but we're going to have to send the production to Eldon, Missouri. We built on for expansion in Eldon, but I never dreamt it was going to be production. I thought it'd be warehousing, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to probably move the production into Eldon.
Okay.
We're probably about a year out.
About a year out.
Well, it really is a testament to the industry for how people responded in that situation. I think it's also a reflection of the connection that they have with you.
That's right.
Really, I think about so many different industries where people would have held back, especially the timing of the year. They need to take care of their own business, and then how much are they willing to share with someone else? I think that's huge, but it's a reflection both on the industry and on you. And I just think it's a great story to share in case it ever happens to someone else who's watching this or learning about it. Is there anything that you would tell Icemen today? I heard you say that you would encourage them to do a walkthrough with
Yeah.
the
Right.
fire crew, um, with their local fire department. Is there anything else that you would give as advice to?
Yeah. This get to know your concrete companies really good. We dropped about 1,400,000 gallons of water on this fire. Okay, we tapped out the city of Freeburg. We were out of water, and I'll go back to this. But well, I'll just go ahead and hit it now. You heard me saying we just built in Eldon. The Freeburg firefighter or fire chief walked in, and he said the call's getting ready to go out. We got to calling statewide mutual aid pumper division. What that means, they're hauling water anywhere from 15 to 3,000 gallons usually on the pumper.
Wow.
We just tapped this region out of water. What nobody knew, Eldon already had departments ready. When Brady put that call in across the 114 counties that we need water, Eldon picked up the mic and said, we're forming departments. We'll be there. Eldon Fire Department contacted Lake Ozark, Camden County, Mid County, Versailles, Tuscumbia, Iberia, and there's one more that I'm forgetting. Osage Beach, yeah. So when that call went out, they all started coming to Eldon. They thought to meet at the ice plant in Eldon and start there, and they said no. They said meet at the crossroads there in Eldon. Stay on the major highway. They came in and they wanted an escort going through Jeff City, which that's our state capital. Jeff City Police Department gave them a full escort all the way from the city limit to city limit. And they started hauling water, was refueling tankers at 4 different locations in this area. At about 8 o'clock, I saw a concrete truck pull in. And I thought, what's going on? It's a firefighter and just going to come in and help. I thought, we need to get that concrete truck up on the hill. Well, before I got down to the plant, 2 more concrete trucks came in. And a good friend of mine owns 2 concrete plants. I walked up there and I said, what's going on? And they said, Charlie's back there in the back. And I said, Charlie's in the back. And he backed in the fire department world. We got what we call swimming pools. They're 4 by 4 by 4 deep. You come in, you dump your water into what we call the swimming pools, and pumpers pull out of the swimming pools and put it on the fire. And Charlie was dumping into a swimming pool. And I thought, what? And he just grabbed me around the neck. He said, I heard a buddy of mine's in trouble. Charlie shut his whole operation down that day. And he was hauling water out of his concrete plants.
Wow.
To keep us in water.
That's amazing, guys. Again, the pain is evident, continues to be, and I know it is for quite some time for you. And as we're wrapping up here, and I think I speak for Jeff, but we want to touch base with you guys probably in about a year, and we want to come back and see where you guys are sitting and how the recoveries went. And I know that there's some stories you'll be able to tell us, and I know some of the reason you wanted to be able to tell this story is to be able to help other people as well with your story of what you've been through.
The biggest other thing I want to mention to other, if this ever happens to other guys, get a hold of your water department and get your water shut off to the ice plant. I had a 6-inch main coming into the plant. I had a 4-inch line going across the ceiling of the original ice plant. Guess what? That 4-inch line melted, and we had water going on the floor that we needed going on the fire.
Oh, okay.
Get your water shut off. And then the third thing you need to do is call me, and I'm coming to that fire to help out.
Well, and that's no doubt. What I'm not going to get all the facts straight, but I mean, I hear about 20 ice companies coming to the rescue across probably 5 to 6, maybe even 7 states that you named. All the ice or the firemen and the job that they do, and then the concrete companies, the community. And I know there's all the people that were providing the food. I mean, this was a all hands on deck approach, and it sounds to me, and I think the emotion that you have is the love that you've felt, not just the pain of going through that fire, but maybe I'm wrong, but I think these aren't all just tears of sadness. These are just the tears and the emotions of the people that have helped you. And we'll give you guys the last word, and we'll have Jeff kind of wrap us up.
Go
This
Anything else you want to say?
is the 50th. This was his 50th year of having the ice company.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
But, you know, it's we're going to try to get this thing rebuilt and get it coming back. You know, it's just, you know, it's all takes time, and dealing with the insurance companies.
Yeah.
That's something I don't wish nobody to deal with. If this, and another thing, if it happens, I was trying to say Mr. Good Guy, but you know, first thing you need to do is call your attorney and let the attorneys deal with the insurance companies.
Yeah.
I think that's probably right after you shut off your water to your ice plant. So
Yeah.
Well, we know it's a hard topic. It's an emotional topic. We can see that and totally feel for you guys. You know, we did then and we do today. Thank you so much for taking the time to share it with everyone, and hopefully it will benefit other people along the way. We've been coming to you from the RouteMan studios at KCS headquarters in Pelham, Alabama. Thank you, Donna and Laron, for taking
God bless
the
you
time.
guys.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You